So we're going to be going over the review. You should have worked on it. So I will have to be writing every single little problem here. Now, all right, there we go. So for the first problem, this is what you have. And if I make a mistake, please let me know. And the problems are already written on your thing. You should have worked on them. But what were you supposed to do with that x equals to 4? Very good. Put the 4 in place of x. So this becomes 2 cubed. So what am I supposed to do first? 6 times 2 or the 2 cubed?
2 cubed.
The 2 cubed. So this becomes 6 times 8. And then what is 6 times 8? 48. And 3 plus 48, 51. So please check the work that you have. If you made a mistake, fix it. If it doesn't make sense what you did wrong, please ask. For the next problem, this is what they give you, and they asked you, for this problem, they give you x is equal to 6 and y equals to 2. So you were supposed to put 6 squared minus 5, 6 minus 2. Is that right? What is 6 squared?
36.
36 minus 5. 6 minus 2 is 4. This is 36 minus 20. And that is 16. Is everybody okay with those two answers? Yes? Perfect. Can I move on?
Yes.
All right. So when we move on, now this one could be a little tricky, but it shouldn't be. You have a lot of groups here. They tell you A is ABC, B is ACDE, C is AD, F, and G, right? So we need to remember what is the difference from intersection to a union. So an intersection, when it's like this, what are you looking for? Everything together or what's in common? What's in common? So what's in common from ABC and ACDE?
A.
It's just A and C. So you see the A is here, A is there, C is here, C is there. So your answer should have been AC. For Monday.
Is it excluding C?
What do you mean excluding?
Because there's C.
But it's only asking for A and B.
Oh.
For number 4, A union C. Now in the union, you do have to write what? Everything. So I have A, B, C over here. And then on this side, D, F, G. Even though the A is there twice, you don't write it down twice. So are we good with that one?
Yes.
Number 5, we have C union A. So C with A. And it's it's not union, it's the intersection. So for the intersection, what is the only thing they have in common? A. And that's it. For number 6, it is the union of A and B. And that would be A, B, C, D, and E. So there's going to be 2 questions on your test, one with union and one with intersection. Are there any questions?
C. Union is the one that's like this.
The one that looks like a U, that would be your union. So this is everything. So please remember that. Are we good?
Yes.
All right, so going on to 7 through 12, they give you a list of numbers. So we have a negative 17, negative 9 over 13, a 0, a 0.75, a square root of 2, pi, and the square root of 81. So for the first one, we're looking for natural numbers, which is number 7. Who are your natural numbers here?
81.
Just the square root of 81 because that is a what? 9.
Wouldn't it be
That's the only one. For whole numbers, which are the whole numbers that are here?
0, 0 and square root of
0 and square root of 81.
81.
Number 9 deals with integers. What was the symbol for integers? Z. So for integers, which ones are your integers?
Negative 17, 0, and square root
Of 81. Very good. For number 10, we're looking for rational numbers, and rational numbers was with a Q. And who are your rational numbers?
negative 17, negative 913, 0.75.
And square root of 81. So this fraction, it ends up repeating. It's like 5 numbers, but they keep repeating over and over. For number 11, you're looking for your irrational numbers. That would be your square root of 2 and pi. And number 12, you're looking for all real numbers. Well, it's going to be all of them right there that were, every single number that was given to you. So there is one question on your test like this. They're going to give you a list and they're going to say, what are the rational numbers, or which ones are your irrational numbers? They're only going to ask for one thing. Your test tomorrow. I know, everything you wish for, right? Number 13. You were supposed to simplify. So what is the one thing I have to do? Distribute who?
5.
The 5. So if I distribute the 5, this becomes 10x minus 15 plus 7x. And then that right there becomes 17x because of those two. And this is your answer. Questions? So please remember, your test is multiple choice. There's only 20 questions on your test. That's it, just 20 questions. So let's look at 14. Now, the only part where some of us mess up on 14 is this subtraction sign. We forget that it gets distributed into those two. The 3 gets distributed into those two. So 3 times 4y, 12y minus 15. That becomes a 7y and a minus 2. 12y minus 7y is 5y. 15 minus 2, negative 17. How are we feeling about this? So far, so good?
Yes.
Yes? Awesome. Number 15. What do you do when you have an exponent outside of a parentheses?
You distribute it.
So we have to distribute to the 2, to the x, and to the y. So this becomes negative 2 to the negative third power, x to the
Negative 7.
positive 12, because it's negative 4 times the negative 3, and y to the negative 9. Now, are we allowed to have negative exponents?
No.
So we're going to move those 2 to the bottom. Now, quick question. Does that negative 2 become a positive 2, or does it stay? It stays a negative 2. The only thing that changes is that power becomes a positive, and that y becomes a positive 9. Yes? This we still need to work out. And what is a negative 2 times a negative 2 times a negative 2? Negative 8 is correct. So my final answer should be this. Does it make sense, or do you guys have questions? The negative, which one? Oh, it could be a negative number, just not a negative exponent. A negative number is allowed. Number 16, 2x to the third and the negative 4. So the negative 4 gets distributed to the 2 and to the x. So this becomes what? 2 to the 4, x to the, and they're both negatives, so I have to put 1 over 2 to the 4th, x to the positive 12. But what is 2 to the 4th power?
16.
16. So this should become this. Now, if you worked on your review, then by now you should know, okay, I got this. I understand what I'm doing. If you didn't work on it for whatever reason, go back, cover up the answer, try to work it out again to see if you're ready for that test. That's my recommendation to you always. Number, what number am I on? 17. So for number 17, I have the square root of 121. Can we take it? Can we take the square root of 4?
Yes.
So my answer is just 11 over 2. Piece of cake, right? For 18, they give you 2 different square roots, but the question is, can you do anything with them individually? I have to what?
Put them together.
Put them together. So just rewrite it as one fraction. So can 96 be divided by 2?
Yes.
What does it become?
48.
So the square root of 48, what happens to your exponent? So it becomes x squared. So x3 minus 1, that's how we're getting the square. Can we take the square root of 48?
Yes.
It's not a whole number, but can we break it down into 2 problems?
Yes.
Square root of 16 and the square root of 3 and the square root of x squared. So the square root of 16 becomes 4. The square root of 3 stays. The square root of x squared is x. So my answer should be 4x square root of 3. We've had problems like that in your notes and in your assignment. Yes or no? Yes. Questions? For number 19, 7 square root of 5 plus 13 square root of 5. Can we add those?
Yes.
Because they have the same square root, right? So the answer is just 20 square root of 5. For number 20, 4 square root of 72 minus 2 square root of 48. Are they square roots the same? No. So this 72, I have to break it down into a number that I could take the square root of, which is 36 times 2. The 48, we broke it down above. So 48 is the square root of 16 and 3. What is the square root of 36? What's the square root of 16?
4.
So we multiply those. And the question here is, can I go any further than that? No. Why? Because this guy is a 2 and this guy is a 3. So this is going to be my answer. Are we okay with that? Yes. This, what did you get? You did 12? I can't hear you. Speak up. Sorry, it's because of the AC. Scream at me, John. Okay, so you did, and it's not 9 and 6, it's 9 and 8. So if you do 9 and 8, you could take the square root of 9, which is what? 3, but this should break down into the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. So the square root of this 4 is what? 2. What's 3 times 2? Still that 6 right there. So you still get the same answer if you break down everything the way you're supposed to. Alrighty, going back to 21. 2 square root of 50 plus 3 square root of 8. Now 50 becomes what? 225. Square root of 25 times the square root of 2 plus 3 and square root of 2. Please don't forget to bring these numbers down. That's what I noticed sometimes. They all forget to bring those down, and that's where you guys end up messing up. So this is 2 times 5 square root of 2, 3 times 2 square root of 2, 10 square root of 2, 6 square root of 2. Are your square roots the same?
Yes.
Yes, so then that means I should be able to add. So the answer is 16 square root of 2. So far, okay? See? Number 22, I'm going to do here because I'm going to need more room for 23. When it's asking for you to rationalize, what do you have to do?
Multiply.
By your denominator. So we're supposed to multiply by our denominators, which was the square root of 3. Square root of 2 and square root of 3 is? Square root of what? 6. Square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is? Square root of 9. Can I take the square root of 9?
Yes.
What is it? 3. So this should be your final answer. When it's asking for, and I could tell you there is going to be one like 22 and one like 23 on your test. So just remember, if it says rationalize, that's what you have to do. So number 23, that one's a little bit more work, but the same process. What do I multiply both sides by? But a negative. So I has to be 6 minus the square root of 3, right? Okay. So if it is 6 minus the square root of 3, on the top, you multiply with 6 times 5. 30. 5 times the negative square root of 3.
Negative 5 times square.
Very good. In the bottom, you have two things. So we have to do FOIL. So we've already covered FOIL before. So we have 6 times 6, which is?
36.
6 times the negative square root of 3.
Negative square root.
Negative 6 square root of 3. 3 times, square root of 3 times 6.
Positive square root. Times the square root.
And square root of 3 times the negative square root of 3.
Negative 9.
Negative square root of 9. Now these two, what happens?
Cancel.
Cancels. So then I have 30 minus 5 square root of 3 over 36 minus the square root of 9. But what is the square root of 9?
3.
3. So this is 36 minus 3. And what is 36 minus 3? 33. You will have one like this on your test also. We still need 17 questions. Questions right now. Do you remember us going over everything that was here? We covered in the notes, yes? Okay. So everything we cover in notes will be on your test. For question number 24, can we take the cube root of 125?
Yes.
What is it?
5.
5. Perfect. For number 25, can we take the fourth root of a negative 125?
No.
It's not a real number. Because this is even, and that's negative, and there's no parentheses or anything inside. For number 26, can we take the fifth root of a negative 32?
Yes.
What is it?
Negative 2.
Negative 2 is correct. It's an odd and the negative, they're okay. 27, can we take the fourth root of a negative 5 to the fourth power?
Yes.
What is the answer?
Positive 5.
A positive 5 is correct. When it's even, it becomes a positive, so this is why it's a positive, and these guys go bye-bye. So are we okay with those? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so for problem 28, let's just go over numbers cubed. I have 1 cubed, which is what?
1.
What's 2 cubed?
8.
What's 3 cubed?
27.
27. And 4 cubed? 64. So for number 28, I have the cube root of 54 over x to the 5th. So which of these numbers here will help me get a 54?
None. Oh, 27.
27. So you were supposed to break this down. The cube root of 27 times the cube root of 27 times what gives you 54?
2.
2. So 27 times 2 gives me the 54. And then this x to the 5th, how does that break down? Cube root of
X.
cube
Cubed.
and cube root of
X squared.
x squared. Because the 2 and the 3 give me the 5. Now what is the cube root of 27? 3. What is the cube root of 2?
No.
Nothing, it stays. What's the cube root of x cubed? X. And can we do anything here? No. So once you have that, numbers without cube roots, they go up in the front. And everything else stays where? Inside. And that's your answer. Question? For 29, we have the cube root of 32x to the 6 and the cube root of 2x. So my recommendation always would be to write it down as what? One huge fraction. It's just going to make it easier all the time. The question here is, can 32 be divided by 2?
Yes.
What does it become? So this becomes the cube root of 16x to the 5th. Very good. Does everybody understand where 5 came from?
Yes.
The 6 minus this one. So can I take the cube root of 16 using one of these numbers on the side?
Yes.
Which one? The cube root of 8 times the cube root of 2 times the cube root of x to the 3rd times the cube root of x squared. Cube root of 8 becomes 2. We can't do anything here. This becomes x, and we can't do anything here. So the final answer, 2x cube root of 2x squared. Are we good? Yeah? For problem 30, they give it to you as 16 to the 1/2. But remember, this is the same thing as the square root of 16, which is 4. And that's your answer. But what happens in problem 31 when you have a negative exponent? You have to move it where first? To your denominator. So this becomes 25 to the power of 1/2. So that's the first thing you need to do. You take care of your negative exponents, and then you do the same thing you did in 30, which becomes 1 over the square root of 25, which is 1 over 5. Now, I could tell you the one on your test is going to be like number 32, where there's 2 numbers there. So negative 27 to the power of a negative 4 over 3. What do we take care of first? Yes. 27 is not what?
Negative.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry. It's a positive 27. Thanks. So we have a negative exponent only. So this becomes what? 1 over, and your exponent becomes positive. And when I rewrite this, which number goes here on the square root? 3. And then we put parentheses to the 4. Now, what is the cube root of 27? 3, but we still need to take it to the what power? To the 4th. And that means 3 times 3, which is 9. 3 times 3, which is 9. And together it becomes 81. So 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, 9, 9, That's where the 81 comes from. Question? And the last 8 problems there, it's just like the last worksheet that you did where everything was a combination of everything. So for problem 33, 15x cubed plus 3x squared. So the first thing you look for is a greatest common factor. Is there a greatest common factor? Which is 3x what? Squared. What is 15 divided by 3? 5. If I have x cubed divided by an x squared, what do I have left over? Just an x, right? And 3x squared divided by 3x squared is 1. Can I do anything else here? Can I take factor trinomial, a difference of squares or anything? Nope, that's your answer. That's as far as you could go. For number 34, x squared plus 16. What's the answer? Prime. Because this is a plus sign. I can't do anything.
That's number 35.
Sorry, that was 35. My bad. So 34 for reals now. 15x squared minus x minus 2. So the first thing is there a GCF? No. So next thing you check for is, can you do grouping? Is there 4 terms? No. So then the third thing we learned was trinomials, but there's a number in the front. So what do we do with it? So my last number now becomes a negative 30. My middle number is a negative 1. Factors of 30 are going to be all these here. Because it's a negative 30, who should be positive and who should be negative?
The front one.
The larger numbers.
The larger number should be negative. Remember, this column always keeps the sign of the middle one. So negative 29, negative 13, negative 7, negative 1. So who am I supposed to use? So when I write this out, what am I supposed to do? Who do I put down first? 15x squared. And then? Plus 5x minus 6x minus 2. So we're supposed to do this by grouping. Remember that? So what do the first two have in common?
5x.
A 5x. So when I factor out a 5x from 15x squared, what do I have left over?
3x plus
3x plus 1. Very good. How about from the negative 6 and the negative 2? What can I factor out?
Negative 2.
A negative 2. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 is a positive 3. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is a positive 1. Are these two the same?
Yes.
Perfect. That's what you're supposed to get. So because they are the same, then you write it once, and then you write your leftovers again. Can I do anything else here? Nope. We can't. That's it. Number 36 was 20x to the 7th
Yes.
minus 36x cubed. So what is the greatest common factor between 20 and 36?
4x cubed.
4x cubed. So I have a 5x to the 4th minus 9. That's it, right? Can I do anything else there? No? So then what do I have?
4x cubed times 5x.
7. This is the last thing that we learned, which is a cube, difference of cubes. So my a cube is y cube. My b cube is who? 8. So A is going to be who?
Y.
And B is going to be 2. So we follow the formula for the minus, which is A minus B. So Y minus 2. And then it's A squared. So Y squared plus times B, which would be 2Y, plus B squared, which is 4. And that's it. So this is the very last thing that we did learn. For number 38, there was a mistake. The last number should be 27. So I have x cubed minus 3x squared minus 9x plus 27. So the 7 was not there. I think I must have deleted it. So please put it there. So you cannot get a GCF from here. But we have 4 terms. So we should be able to do what? By grouping. So what do the first 2 things have in common?
X squared.
X squared. When I factor out an x squared, what's left over? Minus 3. Perfect. The negative 9 and the 27, what can I factor out?
9.
Negative 9, which also leaves me with an x minus 3 inside. So my answer is x minus 3, x squared minus 9. But if you look at this thing, what can I still do here? The difference of squares. So this stays x minus 3, x plus 3, x minus 3. Please don't forget to bring down the thing that you don't use. Like, it's still part of the equation. Now, if you wanted to rewrite this as this, it's okay. I don't know how it's going to be in your answer choices, but there's 2 x minus 3s. That's why they did that. So it's a possibility. So let's look at 39. 8x cubed minus 64. So anytime you see a cube, right away start thinking it's a difference of cubes. Can I take the cube root of 8?
Yes.
Can I take the cube root of 64?
Yes.
Yes. So if a cube is 8x cubed and b cubed is 64, who's a and who's b?
A is 2x and B is
Very good. So again, we do the formula. A minus b, 2x minus 4. A squared is
4x.
4x squared. A and b multiplied is
8x.
8x, and b squared is 16. Question. And the last problem. So for number 40, can we find a GCF?
Yes.
They're all divisible by
4.
4. So this becomes x squared minus 3x minus 28. So it's a trinomial. I need numbers that multiply to a negative 28 that add up to a negative 3. 1 times 28, 2 times 14, and 4 times 7. It's a negative 28, so when the 28 is negative, this keeps the sign from there. So that means all those numbers should be what?
Negative.
Negative. Who's going to give you the negative 3? So 4 parentheses, x plus 4, and x minus 7. And that's your answer. So those of you who worked on it, how'd y'all do?
Pretty good. Other than the radical.